Hello everyone. Now from today we are going to discuss about unit number 6. That is the last unit of solid mechanics. And the name of the unit is axially and eccentrically loaded columns. Now today we will just discuss about the different types of column, failure of the columns, then different end conditions, and then methods available for designing of column or analyzing the columns. So that we are going to cover in today's lecture. Now first of all, everybody should know what is column or strut. Column is also called as strut, but normally column is a completely vertical member, straight member. You know that for RCC building initially columns are constructed and then beam is connected to the column. So what is column? Column is a vertical compression member generally used to carry compressive axial load. Means load is always acting compressive. Means if this is the column, load is acting vertically downward. So this is called as a compressive load because it is fixed at the base and load is acting from vertically downward direction. So what is column? Column is a vertical compression member. Compression member is also called as a strut, but strut is the name which is generally used in case of trusses, steel trusses. When compression member present in the steel truss, that particular member is called as strut. STRUTS, strut. Okay. So depending upon the material also there are different types of names for the column. We suppose column made up of steel, it is called as a steel stanchion or steel stanchion. Okay, steel column is called as stanchion. Wooden column is called as post. Concrete column is called as RCC column. Masonry column. Masonry means what? Made up of bricks or stone or composite. That particular type of columns are called as pillars. Okay, and compression member in truss is called as strut. Now column is a vertical member. You know that this is suppose vertical member. This is the vertical member. So this column may fail due to buckling, crushing, or due to both. Okay. Now when length is much more, suppose length is much more, in that case what will happen? This whenever compressive load is acting over the column, definitely it is going to buckle. But suppose length is very small, this is the total compression height of the column. It may be suppose 100 mm, 200 mm. At that time it is not going to buckle. Definitely when load will be excessive, at that time this particular material will crush. It will crush into pieces. Okay. So depending on that, there are three types of columns. First one is the short column. Short means what? Length is very less. That column, short column fails due to excessive crushing load. Okay. The short column fails due to excessive crushing load. Due to more crushing load, short column fails. Medium column. Medium means what? Not too much heighted, not too much short. Means medium length. Such a medium length column may fail due to buckling or crushing. उसमें buckling भी हो सकता है या crushing भी हो सकता है. That we cannot predict. And long column is what? Length is very much. Such a columns are generally fails due to buckling only. Okay. So these are the three major difference. Short column fail by crushing, medium column may fail by crushing or buckling, and long column will fail just due to buckling. Okay. Now same thing I have mentioned here. Short column fails by crushing, medium column may be due to both criteria, and long column due to buckling. Buckling means what? Bending. So this is the long column. It will buckle. Buckle means what? This one. This is called as buckling or bending. Whenever load is from both the sides like this, it may bend like this or it may buckle like this. Okay. So buckling and bending both are normally buckling का भी use करते word. There is a technical difference. When vertical member is there, and when it is loaded, at that time it is called as buckling. But when horizontal member is there, suppose it is supported like this, and when it is loaded, so this is called as bending. So this is the major difference between bending and buckling. Bending will occur when load is acting on this particular manner, vertically downward on horizontal member. When member is vertical and loading is acting, it will buckle. So that is the difference between bending and buckling. So as long column fails by buckling only, and load at which the long column fails is called as buckling load. That buckling load is also called as a crippling load. Crippling load is also called as critical load, or critical load is also called as Euler's load. These all the four names are same. Buckling load, crippling load, critical. Critical means what? It will be the maximum load the column can carry. If you increase the load, that column will fail. Such a loads are called as a critical load, crippling load, or buckling load. Okay. To find out the compressive stress in the column, it is axial compressive load divided by cross-sectional area. Stress means what? Force upon area, and compressive stress means what? Sigma C. C stands for compressive. Sigma is equal to P by E. So axial compressive load means compressive load by cross-sectional area. You will get compressive stress. Okay. And here I have shown short column means having very small length. It is medium column, and it is long column having much more length. Okay. Now the same phenomenon I have shown here. The short column, whenever loaded, it will fail due to crushing. Means this material will be crushed and it will be in this form. This particular middle column, that is medium column, it may fail due to crushing the material, or it may fail by buckling. Okay, buckling like this. It may buckle like this, out of the plane buckling. It will not always on the right side. It may be left side, it may be right side, it may be in that side or this side. That is depends upon how this load causes the moment. How this load causes the moment. If this is the cross section, even though member is loaded axially at the center, but sometimes what happen, due to this non-axial load, this non-axial load causes moment here, and that particular column will buckle like this. Vertical member, they may buckle like this. And long column, it may fail due to buckling only. So buckling may be in this fashion or in this fashion. Practically how it will buckle, we cannot predict. So permissible compressive stress or safe stress will be sigma C. Okay, it is also called as a crushing stress or compressive stress. So crushing load by factor of safety. Crushing load means what? The load at which column will start crushing. That load divided by factor of safety will get the crushing stress. So there are two methods of finding out the buckling or crippling load. Okay, there are two methods to find out buckling or crippling load. So there are two methods to find out buckling or crippling load. First method is Euler's method or Euler's column theory. First one is Euler's theory or Euler's column theory, and second one is Rankine's theory. It is also called as Rankine's column theory. So what is the difference between these two? So there are some limitations of Euler's theory. Euler's theory is only applicable for long columns. Euler's theory is only applicable for long columns. Long columns means what? When this lambda means what? Slenderness ratio. When lambda is less than 80, at that time Euler's theory is not applicable. Means for Euler's theory, lambda should be more than 80. Okay, so that is the limitation. Limitation of Euler's theory cannot be used when lambda is less than 80. To use Euler's theory, lambda should be more than 80. So this is an important question for competitive examination, GATE examination. Many times this is asked for 2 marks. Now while you can see Rankine's theory. Rankine's theory is used for short as well as long columns. As such, there is no drawback of Rankine's theory. Okay. So today we'll discuss about the Euler's theory first. So Euler's theory is only used for long columns, and there are certain assumptions while deriving the Euler's equation. So first assumption is column is axially loaded and perfectly straight. Okay. So whenever this particular column is there, and if it is the length of the column, this load must act on the axis only. Axis means what? If this is the cross section of the column rectangle, it should act at the centroid, and that column should be perfectly straight. Second assumption is column is made up of homogeneous material, isotropic material, and perfectly elastic material, which should obey Hooke's law. Okay, homogeneous means what? One type. Isotropic means what? Having same properties in all direction. Elastic means what? When it will sustain large deformation. And Hooke's law means what? Whenever stress and curve is drawn, stress is proportional to strain up to proportionality limit. That is called as obeys Hooke's law. Okay. Third assumption is self-weight of the column is neglected or negligible. The weight of this particular column is neglected. The failure of the column is due to buckling only, because this is applicable only for long column. That's why here failure will assume just due to buckling only. Length of the column is very large compared to cross-sectional dimensions. Okay, cross-sectional means what? B or D, that is also called as lateral dimension. So these are the few assumptions in Euler's theory. Now sign conventions. As such, there is no need of these sign conventions, but even though you should know buckling phenomenons, if this is the long column, this column will fail like this, buckling by like this, this curve is obtained as a convex curve. Whenever curve is convex, this is taken as positive. Sometimes if long column is there and when it buckles, so that buckling may be like this may be the buckling, and this shape is called as the concave shape. Means whenever there is a concave shape buckling, that is negative, to be considered as a negative. Whenever there is a convex shape buckling, that should be considered as positive. Now in every book the derivation of Euler's formula is available. I have not derived here Euler's formula, I have directly written the final expression. So this is the Euler's formula. Okay. So PE, E stands for Euler's load. PE, P means Euler's buckling load, Euler's buckling load or Euler's crippling load, Euler's critical load. So it can be defined by many terms. Critical buckling load, Euler's buckling load, or it may be the maximum load carried by column. The formula is PE is equal to pi square EI upon L square, where this I must be I minimum. That's why I have written here I minimum. Why I minimum? Because whenever there is a cross section of the column, okay, this is the cross section, there are two axes, y axis and this is the x axis. Okay, whenever column is loaded like this, about this, you know that ixx is always greater than iyy. Ixx means moment of inertia about major xx axis. Here major axis is called as xx axis and minor axis is called as y axis. When columns are buckling, that buckling is always takes place about minor axis. Okay, buckling is always takes place about minor axis, and about minor axis moment of inertia is always minimum. That's why here I minimum is taken. Okay, so whenever that column is safe for minimum radius of gyration, definitely it will be safe for maximum radius of gyration. Means whenever suppose 100 kilonewton load is acting on the column, that 100 kilonewton should be sustained by both the moment of inertia. Means it should shape about both the axes. If suppose you have taken ixx here instead of I minimum, what will happen? That column will shape against only xx, it will not shape against minor axis yy. That column will buckle about yy axis. Means to avoid the buckling about any critical axis, here this I minimum should be considered. Whenever you are considering I minimum, Means definitely you are going to consider IYY here. Okay, and when you are taking IYY, column will be safe about both the accesses. Okay, so here you can see I minimum is minimum MI, minimum moment of inertia, minimum of IXX and IYY, and generally minimum will be IYY, but you have to verify. For circular section we know that MI is pi by 64 d raised to 4. For rectangular section about x axis it is BD cube by 12, and about y axis it is DB cube by 12. Means initially you have to calculate that moment of inertia for both the axes, and then that value should be used here. Minimum of Ixx and Iyy will be I minimum. Okay. Next term is there here, pi square EI minimum upon LE square. Now what is LE? LE is nothing but the effective length of the column. Okay, it is the effective length of column. It depends upon end condition, how column is supported at the end, whether it is fixed at the end, whether it is hinged at the end, whether it is rollered at the end, or whether it is free at the end. According to that, the value of effective length will change, LE will change. And E is modulus of elasticity, or it is also called as Young's modulus. Okay, that is in MPa, Newton per mm square, 200 GPa. That is the value for steel. Means here, so formula for Euler's theory is P equal to pi square EI minimum upon LE square. Okay. Now we'll just discuss about the different end conditions. Because in this particular case, we have seen this LE is the effective length. Okay. So what is effective length? Effective का मतलब क्या होता है? The length which will actually buckle due to loads, that length is called as effective length. So it is the length between 2 points of zero bending moment. So what is zero bending moment? Suppose this is the column. Okay, column is fixed between two ends. Okay, we know that whenever column is fixed, slope at the this near support slopes are zero. Here also slope is zero. Means when this column will start buckling, this buckling will be initially there is no buckling at the ends due to fixity. So due to fixity, you will find that you can see this end. When it is hinged, at that time this buckling will start from directly support. This curve will start from directly supports. But whenever it is fixed, this curve is not starting from supports. It will be straight for certain distance, and then it will start buckling like this. Okay, means there will be hinge formation here, there will be hinge formation here, and as the hinge, bending moment is zero, or this is the points of zero bending moment. The length between the zero bending moment point, this length between zero bending moment point is called as LE, effective length. Okay, and for fixed end, when both the ends of the column are fixed, effective length LE is equal to L by 2. What is L here? L is the total length of the column from top to bottom. L is total length, means whenever both the end of the column are fixed, at that time this LE means effective length will be half of this total length. LE is equal to L by 2. Okay. Now second case, when one end of the column is fixed, it is fixed, and other end is hinged. So this is the sign convention of hinged end. Now it is fixed here and it is hinged here. This end is hinged. Okay, this end is hinged. Whenever it is hinged, from hinge end, slope is zero at the slope is at this point here. Slope is not zero. At fixed end, slope is zero. At hinge end, slope is not zero, but bending moment is zero. So bending moment is zero means the curve will start from this origin, and this will take shape like this. Why like this? Because it is fixed. For fixed end, there will be some straight distance, and then it will start buckling. Now what is buckling length? Means from this point to this point. This will be effective length, and this effective length LE is equal to L by root 2. L divided by under root 2. L by under root of 2. That will be the effective length when one end of the column is fixed and other end is hinged. So these end conditions are normally mentioned in the problem statement. Okay, so in the problem, if it is mentioned that one end of the column is fixed and other is hinged, at that time effective length in Euler's formula you have to take it as a L by under root of 2. Now, when both the end of the column are hinged, at that time that slope will start, buckling will start from the zero bending moment point, because when it is hinged between the points, that hinge end bending moment is 0 but slope is not 0. So this length you have to consider, and that is nothing but the actual L. Means when both the end of column is hinged, effective length L is L itself. Why L itself? Because buckling will start from the end only. At both the points ends are there, so it will be L is equal to L. So in this case you will find that due to fixity this length is less, and due to here this length is less. Two lengths are less. That's why it is less. Here it is slight less and it is actual length L whenever it is hinged at both the ends. Now fourth case, when one end of the column is fixed and other end is free. Actually it should be fixed. Okay, it should be, sorry, it is hinged. One end is hinged and other is free. One end is hinged and other is free. It is not fixed. It must be hinged. Okay. So at that time what happen? Buckling will start from, due to hinge, buckling will start from this point, but due to free end, this is a free end. Okay. So due to free end what happen? The curvature effect is considered twice to that of actual length. Means whatever curvature means this theta rotation, the rotation will take place, that is nothing but this theta plus this theta. Addition of these two will be the curvature of this particular slope. Okay, so curvature का meaning क्या होता है? Curvature means what? Angle made by this particular curve. This particular curve is also called as curvature. This is also called as curvature. Okay, so this angle theta, that is called as curvature. Okay, so here whenever one end is hinged and other is fixed, other is free, at that time effective length of the column L is equal to twice L, because this curvature effect is added from both the side, it is together. Total theta will be this one plus this one. Okay, so these are the four end condition. It is all I have shown with the tabular form, so everybody should know this table while solving the problems. Both end fixed, effective length will be L by 2. One end is fixed, other is hinged, effective length will be L by root 2. Both end hinged, effective length L is equal to L. One end is fixed and other is free, at that time effective length will be twice L. I think it must be fixed, not hinge. Here it must be fixed. Fixed is correct. So I will check that. You also check that value whether it is fixed or hinged. And now, what is the role of this effective length in the Euler's formula? You know that what is the Euler's formula? Pi square EI minimum upon ELE square. So here ELE you have to put as per the end condition. If both the ends of column are fixed, this L is nothing but L itself, means it will be as it is. When both the ends of the column is fixed, hinged, here both ends are hinged, L is equal to L, means that formula will be written as it is. Pi square EI minimum upon L square, because L is replaced by L. Okay. When both ends are fixed, means what now? Here when both ends are fixed, here this LE, डिनोमीटर में LE जो होता है उसको हमें रिप्लेस कहाँ से करना है? L by 2 से. अगर L by 2 से मैं इसको अगर स्क्वायर करता हूँ, L by 2 square means what? L square upon 4, that 4 will be now on the numerator. Means L by 2 का स्क्वायर अगर हम करते हैं तो it will be L square by 4, that L square will be on denominator and that 4 will be on numerator. Means both ends of column are fixed, at that time Euler's formula will be 4 pi square EI minimum upon L square. Similarly, when one end is fixed and other is free, at that time L is equal to L by root 2. If you square this, L square means what? If you square this, it will be L square upon 2 होगा. Root 2 vanish होगा after squaring. L square upon 2, and that L square will be here and 2 will be on numerator. Okay. Similarly, when both ends are hinged, L is L itself, so it will be L square. When one end is fixed, other is free, it is twice L. Twice L means what here? L square. Twice L square means what? 4 into L square. It will be L square means what? 4L square. इसका square यहाँ पे लिखना है. That will be the Euler's formula. Means how the Euler's formula changes as the effective length changes. So no need to mug up this all equations. Only you should know this Euler's formula. And here there is a LE. You know that there is a LE in Euler's formula. You just change this LE according to the end condition. LE is the effective length. Now slenderness ratio lambda. So what is slenderness ratio? It is the ratio of effective length to the radius of gyration. Effective length or radius of gyration. Radius of gyration means what? R. It is denoted by letter K or R. That is called as radius of gyration or gyration. You can pronounce it in any way. But here slenderness ratio lambda is LE by K, effective length by radius of gyration. And radius of gyration is calculated by using the formula under root of I by A. Under root of moment of inertia by A is the definition of radius of gyration R or K. And when you want to find out this K, squaring this, you will get K square is equal to I by A or I is equal to a K square. Okay. So slenderness ratio lambda using Euler's formula, pi square E I minimum upon L square. This is Euler's formula. Put I is equal to a K square. This is I is equal to a K square. If I put I is equal to a K square here, okay, what will happen now? Here this, and we know that this L is equal to sorry, this lambda is equal to LE by R. Okay, so here this pi square E, here this is pi square E a K square by L square. So I have taken this K on the denominator. This is L square, so it divided by here K square. L square by K square. If you take this square common, so L by LE by K square. Okay, and LE by K is nothing but lambda, effective length by radius of gyration. And here LE by K is nothing but lambda, and you know that buckling load or crippling load is nothing but sigma E means what? The buckling stress means what? Sigma E. It is the Euler stress. To find the Euler stress sigma E, we know that stress is equal to P upon E. So Euler stress is equal to Euler's load divided by area. And Euler's load is nothing but this one divided by area. Means this A will cancel in this particular formula. Then pi square E upon LE by K square. So this will be the Euler's stress. And if you put the Miles-Still value of Euler stress, okay, so this is the formula for Euler stress just derived now here, this one. And if you for Miles-Still value of sigma c is 320 MPa. If you put sigma c 320 MPa, sigma c means what? Critical stress or Euler stress. यहाँ पे इसको रिप्लेस करना है 320 से. Pi square into E 2 into 10 to power 5 LE by K as it is, and this LE by K you take it on this side, transfer this 320 here, solve this, you will get LE by K. LE by K is nothing but the lambda. Okay, by solving this you will get the value of lambda as 78.5 MPa. 78.5 MPa is nothing but approximately 80 MPa. That's why when lambda is less than 80, Euler's formula is not applicable. Euler's formula is applicable for long columns where lambda must be greater than or equal to 80. So this is the limitation of Euler's formula. Limitation of Euler's formula is when lambda is less than 80, it will comes under short column. It will comes under short less than 80, it comes under short column. Euler's formula is not applicable for short column. That is the limitation of Euler's formula. Now there are three stability conditions. One is stable condition. Stable condition means what? When applied load is less than critical load. Critical means what? Euler's load. Applied axial load when smaller than critical load or failure load, then column remains straight itself and it does not undergo any axial compression. Okay. In that case, lateral deflection is zero. Lateral means what? After bending, if this is a straight and when it bends like this is a horizontal deflection is called as lateral deflection. Okay. For stable condition क्या होता है? P is less than PCR. मीन्स अप्लाइड लोड इज लोअर देन क्रिटिकल लोड. न्यूट्रल इक्विलिब्रियम में क्या होता है? न्यूट्रल मीन्स व्हाट? अप्लाइड लोड एंड क्रिटिकल लोड बोथ आर सेम. As axial load P increases gradually, the stage will reach that both the stage will reach that column will buckle or bend, but not regain its original shape. That is called as P equal to PCR. At that time, applied load and critical load will be same. Unstable equilibrium में क्या होगा? Critical load will be more than applied load. That is called as unstable equilibrium. And these are the three conditions. Stable में क्या होगा? P is less than PCR means column will be straight itself. Second case में P equal to PCR, it will just buckle. And third condition में क्या होगा? Excessive buckling होगा इसे and then it will fail. So that are the three stability conditions. Okay. So this is for today's lecture. Now in next lecture we will discuss about the numericals on Euler's formula. Thank you.